Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, January 16th. Yesterday, you should have submitted the first draft of your current event speech, and it should have been graded last night. There are only, I think, 10 of you, maybe 11 in the class. So hopefully those got done. So what you should find, if they're not done, they will be done tomorrow, and you'll still have time to make some corrections to them before you have to submit them at the end of class tomorrow. Okay, so today I just want to go over with you some public speaking information, like tips for you. So, words, let's start first with words to avoid when speaking. So, anything that is too um, colloquial, meaning when we say words like, I got a bad news for you. I got is not grammatically correct. I have got is grammatically correct. So you want to avoid some of the things that's a little too colloquial. Um, I kind of have a pet peeve when people say in society today or in today's society or today's world because it's like making a sweeping generalization. So we want to kind of avoid making sweeping generalizations about things in society today because what society are we talking about and what's accepted as normal in our society may be different in someone else's. So be specific, at least if you want to talk about American society or in McHenry, that sort of thing. Don't disagree, like don't diminish the other side of an issue by saying something like I only idiots would think that, or I don't understand why they would say that. Um, I am not a big fan of rhetorical questions, especially rhetorical questions that have the word you in them. So I'm asking you not to use that as an introduction to your paper and also not as a way to like transition from one idea to the other. It's better for you to make a declarative statement, sounds more confident. So if you said, why wouldn't we want to eliminate straws? Instead, you say, we should eliminate straws. Okay. Also, when you are speaking, these are called verbal pauses. Ums, ahs, likes, than, there I did one. You want to try to make sure you eliminate those vocal pauses as much as possible. Okay, so speaking tips. Make sure you know how to pronounce everything. And if you don't know, ask someone who you think would know and then write on the side phonetically, which is basically not the way that it's spelled, but how it sounds when you speak it so that you can remember that when you're saying it. Remember, when you are quoting a source, that you should know who the source is and you should say that. So the example I gave yesterday was Christopher Walker. Make sure that you say Christopher Walker, a professor at A&M University, so that that credibility is included. Show enthusiasm. Don't sound bored when you're standing up there speaking or your audience will be bored. So you want to make sure that you're using your volume, your pace, your pitch, your rate, everything appropriately. And then make sure you articulate so we understand what you're saying. If you have a dialect, watch it, try to control it a little bit. Okay, so body language. Number one, don't hug or lean on the podium at all. You should have your manuscript placed across the podium with your hands gently resting on the very back of the podium, not the front where the audience is sitting, but the back where you are. You can use gestures if you want to, and that's an easy spot to raise those gestures from. Make eye contact. Look around the room and try to make sustained eye contact, not just quick glances. Stand up straight. Keep your weight even on both feet. Don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't play with your clothing or your hair. Try not to tap or use the podium as a drum. And then make sure if you're using hand gestures that they're appropriate and that they're visible hand gestures. Okay, so that's our quick review of that. Today in class, there's two things that you should do. Hopefully you've got some feedback on your paper that you can start adding to or correcting. If you don't, you can begin like adding anything that you know you still have to add, but then you can also move forward and you can work on actually practicing your speech, making sure that it's in the 3-minute mark, eliminating extra information that you may not need to keep it in the 3-minute mark, and then practice some of those delivery skills. Again, tomorrow at the end of class, we will be submitting these. And I'm going to give you that information right away so I don't have to do a second screencast, and just so that you're prepared. All right, so you're going to, again, submit the assignment in Schoology the same way that I showed you. Because the substitute may not have access to printing the same way I do, before you leave class, you need to print 2 copies of your paper and then go down to the library and then bring 1 copy to the substitute and keep 1 copy for yourself. We're going to begin speeches on Tuesday. I hope that I will be recovered enough to be back in school on Tuesday. We don't have school on Monday, so Tuesday, January 21st, that's when I'm hoping I'll be back. We are going to be doing random speeches, so we're going to have your names that I'm going to draw out of a bucket, basically, or the substitute will if he or she is back. We'll both have copies of the speech. If you want to change your copy so that the font is a little bit bigger and is easier to read, go ahead and do that. You cannot bring your Chromebook or a phone up to the podium. It has to be paper, manuscript speech. We went over the rubric yesterday in Schoology, so hopefully you remember what that is and you also know where to access it. All right, so tomorrow, final copies of the speech are due. There will be no screencast tomorrow, so you're just going to use the rest of the class today and tomorrow to work and then submit and print at the end of class. Okay, then hopefully I will see you on Tuesday. If not, you'll probably know by now whether I'm coming in or not, and there'll be more screencasts in your feed. Have a great weekend, and hopefully I get to see you and meet some of you on Monday or on Tuesday.